All right, hello and welcome to another rebellion in a little over an hour this time. You can see here I'm playing my friend Grant from the Discord server. He's playing the role of the bad guys, and I will be playing the role of the Glorious Empire. Pretty standard deployment I'm using here. Star Destroyers and ACs paired up next to loyal rebel planets with an ATST under the Death Star. You know, I've been trying some different deployments, and hopefully some of my next videos will have some of those up there too. I was getting kind of stuck in a rut. I tell you what, it's easy to get stuck in a rut in this game, man. You get a few bad rolls, a few games in a row, and then it's pretty brutal. Alright, so we got Rebels starting out in Cato Nemoidia with the ability to cover either or attack either one of those locations. So dropping Tarkin on Corellia, probably not a great turn one move. I do have only 3 moves I need to make, so the 4th could either be moving towards Ord, or I could try a capture combo here. So you see I've got draw them out, capture, and then make an example. So the concept is I could get rid of Leia right away, but I mean, man, that would cost all 3 leaders, and then if the event that Leia attacks first into Corellia, then I've literally wasted just about all of those cards there. So quickly change my mind from that idea and table it for maybe try a different round here. Alright, instead, since I only have 3 moves to make and Leia's back, I'll probably drop Vader on a Rule by Fear. This gives a chance of most likely removing a loyalty, and then if he does have false orders, that's a pretty good use of me pulling out false orders. So I think ideally I'd just keep 4 moves here, but luckily enough, as you can see, Grant plays false orders, pulls Vader back. He now no longer has that card, which means when I run my capture combo later, he won't be able to destroy it there. While Dodonna infiltrates, I'll point out we got a couple viewers here in the top right-hand corner. Anybody who's watching this, if you guys log on to the Tabletop Sim gallery, you can often find my games. They're always labeled the server CBWB for Combat Wombat. Password is the number 1 4 times, so 1111. You guys are always welcome to hop in and join to view. No problem there. Haven't gotten into Twitch or anything yet. That seems like one step further than I want to commit to on this here. So tag subjugating Moncal. You know, a pretty basic move that I should probably point out with turn 1 moves if you want to try to avoid turn 1 confrontation. If you bring an ATST and a trooper, sometimes that lets you deal some damage out, or gonna tempt him into doing something else. Sometimes if you just bring a single trooper, it's if you get into that habit, you'll get a leader sniped really early on. Ultimately, if the rebels want to confront one of your leaders, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You'll see Mothma here tried to build an alliance, and Emperor blocked it. Since I only really had 3 moves to go, keeping the Emperor back to block a build alliance on an even roll seemed like a reasonable thing to do. And I could have kept him back to counter this attack in Corellia. Because of the way he's doing it, I can't really prevent him from scoring Threaten the Core. But that's okay. It's just one objective. We'll try hard to stop some other ones from going through. Plus, I really am looking forward to trying that make an example combo here later too. All right. Yep, there's the objective for Threaten the Core. I don't necessarily mind that objective early because you have to pull a fair number of rebel troops out, and I'm a huge fan of eliminating units when they're available to be reached. So I'll probably try to get rid of that fleet here this next turn. All right, you can see I also pulled Lure here, and then Bounty too with Jabba. So at this point, I'm kind of committing to see if we can go kind of all-out capture here. Got a lot of combo cards to pull off there. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Been pretty good over here. Drinking some coffee. Finished up a couple of Netflix series. All right, deployment. What do we got going on? So I like putting tanks out on turn 1 near Rebel troopers. You know, a pretty common deployment for Rebels 3 in Utapau. And then if we got 3 in Utapau, dropping a tank there, you can block 2 black hits. It's kind of a nice combo. So I like to kind of drop those out somewhere nearby. Rebels playing a most desperate hour here with Leia. And when Mothma goes on that too, it means they're probably pulling established trade relations out and get a Mon Cal on the board. So now what to do? We could definitely, so we know where Leia and Mothma are headed, and we know we're going to have the pacing this game, or this turn. So I can drop a capture lure combo and for sure get a chance to potentially grab both of them, or grab one of them, have my pick. Also got Jabba's bounty card too. So depending on what he's up to, I could try to block it, put a bounty on somebody, and then pull the capture off too. Sometimes Jabba's bounty card is easier to pull off earlier in game rather than later. Now, I'm not actually expecting to block this. What I'm trying to do here is prep for lure, because I've got those extra green dice, and if I'm going to commit to a lure here, I want every dice I can get. The bounty would have been a nice, extra, but I wasn't likely to block that with the +2 from Mothma. Would have been a sick combo. Also, Jabba's not going to block anybody else here. Problem is, if I block infiltrate with Dodonna, then Jabba could get attacked, or he could, or Dodonna can hide from the bounty later on. So, all right, Tarkin attacking the fleet here, and the idea behind attacking this fleet is to try to pull Wedge out of the reserves here. If he drops Wedge here, he has a chance to retreat or re-roll or score some hits. So he'd have some options here. I tried to make it sort of an interesting decision for him, but at this point, I'm pretty sure he knows I'm going for capture lure. So that was kind of the goal with Tarkin here, but in exchange for not bringing Wedge out, I can wipe some stuff. So put 3 damage on the Y-Wing and then drop the extra 2 on the Corvette so that he can't heal. That way if he rolls 2 red heals, then we're okay there. Since the transport can't run away, it's going to die at the end of the turn here. All right, tried to heal the assault carrier to no avail. So not too bad, kind of expensive there for that attack, especially in exchange for just getting Alderaan, but I also have the option of clearing out Corellia next turn, doing a roll by fear and a R&D too. All right, on the ground, just need to do damage here. Probably, yeah, that's probably the right move. Sometimes you'll be tempted to not to not play a good offensive card and just try to throw one away, and then if you get a bad roll and you end up getting confronted, that kind of throws everything to the side. All right, Vader out and Wedge here for the block. Okay, so because I moved with Tag, I've got 4 dice and he's got 3. This is a thing I usually lose. So I got scored 5. So Wedge is going to drop his card. Honestly, that's not a bad trade.
Give yourself to the dark side.
He's got to fail this first, though.
It is the only way you can save your friends.
And he did.
Yes. Your thoughts betray you. Your feelings for them are strong. Especially for... Sister. So, you have a twin sister. Your feelings have now betrayed her too. Obi-Wan was wise to hide her from me. Now his failure is complete. If you will not turn to the dark side,
It's not a bad roll.
then perhaps she will.
All right. A little bit of fun there for everybody. The +2 from the Emperor worked out, and we ended up with Darth Leia. Now the downside is, since we've already played we've already recruited Jabba. If we end up with his other card up here, we're just going to end up with Mahdi, which is not fantastic, but so be it. All right, got a Dagobah and Dathomir, not too bad. The 2 central remote planets here. And you can see I pulled a homing beacon too, so apparently the game is just wanting me to go capture. Also with Krennic's Finest sweep the area here. Now, I forget to play the sweep the area card, and Grant doesn't notice. What I should have done is played it on either Dagobah or probably Bothui. But what happens is later on in the game, like 4 turns in, we notice I haven't played it, and we end up just trashing it because like it's far too late at that point. All right, so Rebels are down a leader now. Imperials are up a leader. So Rebels have 4 guys on, and the recently recruited Maydeen back. So now we're in a build turn. So it's a little bit risky to do this maneuver in a build turn. But what I like about this idea is that Maydeen, I think, is back to block. He doesn't have any troops on the board to move. Maydeen's got 2 intel. Grant's got a lot of units in the base. I could pull 2 probes. So likely Maydeen is out to block. So if Maydeen is out to block, I could pull a combo here. Pull him into a remote planet. Walk some troops on there too. Capture him. Stick him there. Eat him. Feed him to the Sarlacc. This also kind of beats home the point that Maydeen's there to block, because now the base troops can't move. So I don't really need to panic about Maydeen being used on anything here. I just need the first mission I run to be draw him out. And I'd like Wedge to do something else here, because I don't want to risk him blocking a capture. So what I'm going to do is just kind of move Tarkin around. Rebels go ahead and do an infiltrate. Up to level 2 objectives now. But I'm not really moving too much here. Now Tag heading out to Tatooine. The idea is Tag can add to that capture dice. So we'll have capture with Vader and draw them out with Krennic's Finest. Actually, I didn't... Yeah, I put leaders on the wrong cards here, I believe. Anyway. I know it's hard to tell in these videos sometimes, but I tend to play pretty fast, mostly because I play this game way too much. All right, we can talk about this block here again. So Emperor versus Mothma for the block. Again, it's a 3-on-3, but why do this when there's just a speeder out there? Well, first, because I'm rolling hot, and then second, because I don't want regional aid to be scored. I've already given up one easy objective here, and if I'm messing around with missions and stuff, I don't need to be giving up easy objectives. So obviously we're pulling to Tatooine. I wanted to sort of bluff a little bit there in terms of like trying to think of where to pull him to, just because Wedge is out and about. I didn't want him sabotaging Tatooine. No, I probably should have moved a Vader instead of Tag, because then I could stack up on the capture. Now I'm a little bit light. I'm going to have 3 dice plus 2 baby dice. So what I'm thinking here, whether or not I actually need to add Vader to the group up there, but instead I'm just going to block Wedge. And that works.
Dear. His High Exaltedness, the great Jabba the Hutt, has decreed that you are to be terminated immediately.
Good, I hate long waits.
You will therefore be taken to the Dune Sea and cast to the pit of Carkoon, a nesting place of the all-powerful Sarlacc.
Doesn't sound so bad.
In his belly you will find a new definition of pain and suffering, as you are slowly digested over 1,000 years.
I love it. Only thing that would have made that better is if that was Solo instead of Maydeen. Liking the narrative on this game so far. We got Darth Leia, we got Maydeen tossed into the pit of Cartoon? I don't know. Carthoon? Gotta love a good Sarlacc feeding. Make an example is a really hard card to pull off. In fact, I would make the case that you need to have draw them out in order to effectively use that card. You could be tricky and wait for Luke to become a Jedi in Dagobah and then capture him there and feed him to the Sarlacc as well with like a, maybe a secret facility on Dagobah. Flip it over, capture him, feed him to the Sarlacc. That's a tough thing to pull off though. Draw them out just makes it so much easier. So rolling pretty good here, Wombat. I like it. All right. Now on the part of the board control that actually matters here, we're way behind on everything. Got a Mon Cal about ready to deploy it. I have deployed nothing useful. All ground forces so far and TIE fighters. I have checked approximately 0 systems. The entire middle of the board is open. The entire bottom left corner is open. The entire bottom right corner is open. The Death Star is stuck on a shield bunker now. And I have a Star Destroyer in Alderaan. So quite possibly one of the worst board positions you could possibly be in as the Empire at the moment. Now the advantage is Rebels are down 2 leaders, Leia and Maydeen. And Lando is now using an independent operation, which that makes me think maybe we're in Ryloth. So, okay, fair enough. Where to go? We could either go to Seleucid or we could go to Naboo. Again, all my forces are on the left side of the map, so that's a nice move by Lando there. So we're going to drop him in Naboo and suggest that we might be moving the Star Destroyer there. But if you've seen the potential behind this game right now, you know we have no desire to actually do that. I've got Interrogation Droid that I drew. I've also got Homing Beacon that I drew. Pretty fun. So if I can capture Lando, I could possibly attempt to pull all those off this turn, except I'm a little bit light on intel. So I drew Soontir for my hero, so we'll just go ahead and we'll try to get a little bit of board control back here. We'll do a capture, we'll do a rule by fear, or not a rule by fear, we'll do a fear will keep them in line, and gotta try to get this board under control a little bit. All right. So again, 4 leaders for the rebels because Lando had something going on here. Also, you can see we're starting to stack leaders now too, just playing defensively. So Jabba's going to drop a subvert, and we're going to try to block this this nonsense right here and drop a bounty. I actually forgot a dice there. I should have rolled 1 extra. But bounty worked. And bounty lets you put it on a leader in the system. So we're actually going to put that on Lando. Even though we already used his card, hindsight, I think I would have preferred putting that on Dodonna. Dodonna's got the rescue, one of the only guys who can rescue now with 2 intel. Because I've already got Leia and Maydeen. So I think Lando or Dodonna would have been the right one to bounty, but we're going with making Lando do it. And here we go with the capture. Why do the capture there before a move? You know, I need to make sure that he doesn't drop wedge there too, basically. And the capture works. Got Lando. So that's a reputation point. You can see last turn too, we had Rebel Cell dropped in Mustafar. That's going to cause some problems because I'm not moving this game, so I have no idea how I'm going to get to Rebel Cell in any sort of efficient manner. I'm going to have to move that Star Destroyer over to Cato, maybe the other one through Toydaria and Mustafar, leave the... Yeah, actually, I think that's the right move. Star Destroyer to Toydaria and then drop Tarkin on that to gain loyalty in Kessel and Nal Hutta, and then build some stormtroopers on there. Hit and run. Okay, so do we block this hit and run? We absolutely have to block this hit and run. What I should have done is just moved that assault carrier, but I was too busy playing capture, so had to happen. Blocking the hit and run, it does hold the aircraft carrier or the assault carrier in place. But it lets me move it next turn, so I think that's okay. He does have a Y-wing he can deploy in Ryloth, or in Geonosis for that matter. But we've got Soontir, so we have a couple of ways out. Okay, Soontir to Cato. See by the map, we got the whole bottom right and the whole bottom left region plus Ryloth uncovered. So, like I said, playing captures and cards is fun. I think it's far from an ideal strategy. Rebels always seem to have enough leaders to do whatever they want. So we're getting loyalty in Ryloth with the idea of dropping somebody there, and I'm just trying to figure out if Riken's on contingency plan or not, because we're going to go for the block, try to prevent the Y-wing from being deployed up there. This time it did not work, so dice failed me. Rebels get Ryloth. We don't need to worry too much about what objective he's going to score, because since he's got Rebel Cell, he can score whatever he wants. So we'll just try to pay attention to what he throws away. He knows that I know that he has the loyalty in one region objective. So here we go with Leia, moving out to Toydaria. The idea of grabbing those 2 loyalties, and again, just trying to get some board presence back here. Riken with a sabotage, it looks like. Not a rapid. Not contingency plan. Okay. Question is, do we block it, or do we save tag to move the Death Star? Let it go. Not deploying anything anyway. I've got a stormtrooper on the queue, which, because I'm not moving, I'm also not building, so I've got a couple of choices. We can either strip loyalty, or we have to cover those 2 systems up there, because if the base is up there and I move all my stuff away, it's a nightmare. Tag over to Yavin. Trying to hedge my bets against raid outposts here. Raid outpost comes up more often than not, and then especially if you're letting them infiltrate around, and then if they, with Riken's card and hidden fleet or 2 hidden fleets, it's just a nightmare to deal with. So that's the idea. Okay, Tatooine Alderaan, Worthless Probe draw. Now for leaders, the correct leader here is Krennic. The incorrect but more fun leader is Boba Fett because of Boba Fett wear. I have a fun combo to do next round, which is homing beacon and interrogation droid. Now, I need Krennic to run those missions, but if I drop Boba Fett wear out, he can't rescue Lando. So we're going for fun here. So we're taking Boba Fett. I should probably get rid of... I don't know about that. Getting rid of Tag is going to be a bad idea because of logistics. I now only have Tarkin. I probably should have gotten rid of Krennic's Finest, to tell you the truth. Or just not gone 100% meme, but we're doing that, I guess. Alright, Rebel Fleet deploying in Mustafar. Again, that kind of means he's either an Endor Hoth or he's trying to pull me away from Dantooine. Either way. Death Star's just going to sit in place. We're going to play cards. The other nice part about Boba Fett wear, and you can see, so he's got Chirrut and Chirrut on a mission, so chances are either he or Dodonna's on a rescue. And then play 1 action card, play them all. So we're going to drop Soontir off to try to wipe this Corvette up here and this Y-Wing. It's a pretty good opportunity to do so. 4 TIE Fighters is nice, even without the TIE Fighter card in a situation like this, because you can drop a damage on the Corvette, and Corvette probably plays the cancel card anyway. Or if they don't, then you're doing damage there. So it'll also have the opportunity to pull Wedge out, which I don't know if he'd do that or not, but we'll see. If he does, then that group can't move anymore, and then I can just follow up attack him in Geonosis. So he decides to leave Wedge still. And we'll play a damage card and see if he cancels it. He does not. That's okay because, I mean, he's got another Corvette in the base, so he probably wants to keep it for that. That's a nice roll. Even damage Corvette. Y-Wing, heal the TIE, do another damage on the Y-Wing. It's like a Yahtzee roll. So, apparently all those games with bad rolls, I'm saving up for this one here. Alright, so Soontir covers Ryloth. Now, we don't know if the base is there or not, but the immediate risk of losing the assault carrier is gone. I probably still need to keep Vader back to block. Missions just in case, but because Wedge is not on a mission, it means hit and run's probably not a thing this turn. Could be Chirrut, I guess, but that's what I'm thinking about here. Then I just say forget it, put him on a card, keep Finest back to block. Alright, got everybody going. Homing Beacon is an all intel card. So I'll have Jabba, Leia, Tarkin and Boba against just Lando for Homing Beacon. And then I got Vader on Collect Bounty. Probably should have saved that for Boba, but we're doing it. Could have collected Wedge on a bounty again next turn. Alright. So yeah, he was going to run Infiltrate there, but can't because of Boba Fett wear. Now that also means I can't move that Star Destroyer. So again, this is everything against my normal Imperial
Now,
doctrine.
Your Highness, we will discuss the location of your hidden rebel base.
Interrogation droid. adding Boba Fett's dice there is nice too. So not only can the rebels not play a card there, but you also get 5 extra dice when you run something like that. Ilum, Ryloth, Hoth. That is exactly what I was hoping for. Get Interrogation Droid out, follow up with Homing Beacon, now you know where the base is. Of course, we pretty much already know that the base is, I guess it's not Dantooine, so... Here we go with Interrogation Droid, or Homing Beacon. Had to look hard for this clip here.
Dad! I think we've been trapped.
You must have put a homing device on our hull. Hang on, son, we'll move into the asteroid field. And we'll have a couple of surprises for you.
That was Jango Fett and young Boba Fett there. Attack of the Clones, I think that was. Maybe. One of those. Anyway, now we know the base is in Hoth. Lando's hanging out down in Bespin. Ripe for a potential capture, but got a problem. If I capture one of those rebels down there, I'm going to drag him into Seleucid and then not have a great defense there unless I move fleet. But not really interested in moving fleet into harm's way with that Mon Cal floating around, so just inch everything down where we can move them in together. Also, we can cover up the Ryloth square here because we have units there and we know there's nobody. And this is where pacing is useful, so Wedge hanging out in Mustafar, guarding Lando, I suppose. But, nope, he's not. He's just drawing ships out, bolstering the area there. Also potentially protecting against the ground assault card, planetary assault probably. Got Chirrut on a card still, makes me think he's on rescue, but might be wrong on that. And then we no longer need to check Ryloth because we found out the base is in Hoth, so we can just cover up Ryloth and then subjugate Geonosis instead. And cover up Utapau too while we're at it. The probe map's not all the way up. He's not. He's on Lead the Strike Team. Okay, so that's likely going to score Liberation. Didn't keep anybody back to block that. It gives me a couple of interesting choices for capture too. I could go with Riken, or I could go try for Chirrut and then pull him into the Star Destroyer group or the Naboo group. We'll see how this combat goes first. Yep. Let's see if we score an objective. No objective, that's nice. Okay, he was just going for the speeder build. Speeder build because he's got 2 in base right now, and he's got probably 1 more build coming before I get down there. So I'm trying. If you can get 5 speeders in the base, that's a nightmare to deal with. So probably a good move there. Plus now I got to cover that location. Invader with a bounty. We're going for the easier pull on Riken because I've got Soontir to help out as well. Probably didn't need it. Rolled real nice. But capturing Riken's nice too because it cuts down on his logistics. So now we've just got Mothma and Lando for logistics. So they can still run plant false leads, hidden fleet, rapid, but not all 3. Probes are still leaving a lot to be desired, so there's a lot of vacant spots they can get to. Drew Ozzel's card, but no Ozzel. Passed up on Ozzel's card earlier for bounty. Well, on proceeding as planned. I do like proceeding as planned though, although I almost always use it for the wrong card. I don't know how I do that. I have a tendency to overthink everything, I think. Alright, where to deploy? So, it's a decent-sized Rebel fleet. I would have 2 Star Destroyers there. The extra assault carrier might be nice, but I've also got to prepare for Grant leaving. Grant loves to leave and go to new bases. So a pretty standard Rebel move here is to screw up some part of the board, move the fleet back to Hoth, where the base is, flip the base over, hidden fleet from Hoth to anywhere on the board, Kessel or, Ilum or Dantooine or wherever. Then rapid and go to that location. So you got to be careful moving too much stuff into place and not having any place to cover. Also, I'm running out of capture cards. We're up by about six turns, but he scored twice on Rebel base or on Rebel cell. Both of them loyalty cards. Both of them that he could have scored naturally too. So I guess I don't hate that too much. But yeah. So now we're gonna work on board control a little bit. I'm realizing that I'm regretting having Boba Fett and not Tag, because now I don't have that extra move and I don't have an extra logistics. Alright. Freeing Riken with Chirrut. That's fine. Out of tricks to play for captures anyway. Just need to draw Carbon Freeze, actually. Have a nice clip for that too. Alright, Krennic's Finest. Gonna go ahead and work on Bothwy. Gotta wipe out rebels here. Don't want rebels popping up in random places. Also, I should have built on Kessel for sure. Probably gonna regret that. Tank card's probably a nice one to play here. Flip the combat works too. Although it doesn't work if it plays the no heal card. Grant out thinking me yet again. And 2 hits. And 1 hit. So I need a hit here or I could be confronted. Alright, got a hit. We're alright. 1 left in Bothwy. Not exactly how I wanted that to go, but that's okay. Okay, Dodonna with Infiltrate. To run here. So we do have to block something with Fett. We'll probably block whatever wedge is on. Go ahead and move out to get into position here for a fleet combat. If Lando wants to do that, Vader is happy to oblige. Sabotage. I don't have anything else for Fett to do, so I don't particularly care if he sabotages Warren, I don't think, but might as well do something and block it. Rolling well. So we got a loyalty that we can block with the Emperor. Got a rule by fear with Jabba. Lando's not going to block that. Grabbing loyalty in Magneto. I don't actually need to block that if I move the Death Star over it. So we'll just go ahead and move the Death Star. Now it feels like I'm getting baited a little bit here, but I mean, I gotta get out there anyway because of Dantooine is sort of my thought. So get an assault carrier down there, move the Death Star next. And interesting. Okay, Lando pulling back, prepping for hidden fleet maneuvers next turn. Leia's got to get to covering some stuff up. Now, where are our biggest hidden fleet problems? For sure, Ilum and Dantooine, right? To a lesser extent, well, also Kessel. So for sure, I got to build on Kessel this round. And I do have some troops deploying, so we should be okay there. Got to build on Kessel. Now, probably got to consider Mon Cal as well, although I have 3 health worth of units on Mon Cal. I gotta get that Star Destroyer moving somewhere too, so we'll move him over to Naboo, carry those wayward souls somewhere. And grabbing the units from Geonosis as well. Now, why not leave somebody there? Well, good question, but if we've got a decisive victory there for another point. If he's got a Raid Imperial factory down the road, and I've got a single Stormtrooper on Geonosis, that's ripe for a uprising. I've got an ATST up on Mon Cal, but that's harder for 3 troops to take down. Alright, I did draw Dantooine, so that was nice. So now we got to worry about Ilum, which I can cover next turn. Also got an assault carrier that I could deploy in, maybe in Coruscant, maybe up north. So we've managed to hem in the rebels a little bit down there. Had to discard secret missions, the obvious discard there, since I only have one leader with logistics right now. Confronting Tarkin would be a nightmare. Deploying the assault carrier with the rest of the fleet, I think, is a huge mistake at this point. Probably should have deployed it where the Death Star is. Playing the assault could be pretty bad right now, too. Playing the assault and then move the base to Ilum. So got to keep some guys back to block. Trust in the Force with Chirrut. That's his weaker card. So that's good to know. Then he's down to 5 leader actions again, so we'll have control of everything here. No under the radar, which is nice. So debating on what to do here. I do have kind of a limited amount of movements to make. I gotta cover Bespin, gotta cover Mustafar, gotta cover Ilum or Ord. I really wish I had deployed that assault carrier where the Death Star was. Would have given me extra dice against playing the assault, would have done a lot of things. But let's see what the rebels are up to. Would have let me cover Ilum and then Ord separately. Yeah. I'm overthinking things here. I'm thinking of keeping Jabba and Boba back to block. But I need movements. I need more movements than I think I need. So I probably should have Boba on Soontir's mission, because the rebels aren't blocking anything right now. So I think that's it's probably a big mistake there. And here's the hidden fleet. It's got enough out there where, boy, you don't really want to attack that with just the Death Star. You're gonna go down pretty quick without Jar Gerard's card. And I don't have an assault carrier that I could use to fly in a bunch of ships to try to take out the starfighters, which could be something to do. Now, I do have Hunt Them Down. I can take out a couple of X-Wings, which would be okay. I could also take out the lone transport back in Hoth, but Don't know that either. So we're going to go for X-Wings, and might as well do it now because it's not going to get any easier there depending on whatever missions they have. So just try to keep the tempo on my side. Roll 3. It's enough to kill two starfighters. Now I could take the speeder too, but right now the major threat is the Death Star. So you just want to take things that can kill the Death Star. In this case, it's starfighters. There's no Luke, so he's got to last at least a full turn, maybe 2. I mean, he's got a 50% chance of rolling a crit with Death Star plans, even without Luke. So if you're lasting any further than 2 Death Star trench runs, you're doing better than you should be. So you figure you'll get 0 the first round because of the, maybe one starfighter if you're lucky because of the Nebulon card, and then so you gotta get lucky that first roll. All right, but still have to get back to business and Bespin and Endor, because Endor is a spot he could wrap it to as well. And plant false leads. Ord, Dagobah, Kashyyyk, Dathomir. So I don't have anybody on Kashyyyk. I do have somebody on Dathomir. I don't have anybody on Ord. Don't have anybody on Dagobah. So that was a nice plant false leads. If you're not sure how to use plant false leads, I have always found it's a good idea to always put at least 1 on top of the probe deck, even if you don't plan on moving there. Because if you put all 4 at the bottom of the probe deck, I know none of those 4 planets are anywhere near the top, right? Depending on how many probes are left in the deck. So if you put 1 on top, I have to account for all 4 of those possibilities. So when in doubt, at least put 1 on top of the probe deck. You can put more. I mean, there's a couple strategies. You can put junk cards on there, so I'm drawing probes that aren't useful. Or if you're planning on a rapid, you want to put useful ones up there, at least 1. So Grant puts 3 on top and 1 on the bottom. That's interesting too, because then any one of the last cards could be on the bottom. It could be Endor, it could be Ilum. Hard to know. Alright, gotta watch out for Return of the Jedi here. And because Boba and Jabba cannot move, I don't really have much of a choice here. So we'll just hope that I don't get Jedi'd. I also have to move a Star Destroyer here because I have to be able to cover Endor the next turn. Alright, Wedge dropping a Sabotage. Need to block that with Boba. Well, that's an interesting idea, actually, because if I block it with Boba, then the Death Star's stuck there. Instead, I could move the Death Star back to the safety of the shield bunker, which is probably the better move here. Which then means Boba's doing nothing. The rise and fall of Boba Fett. This turn 7 of Boba Fett was like the Book of Boba Fett series. Good idea, and just didn't do a whole lot. But I don't know. Did you guys like that series? I liked parts of it. I really felt like the idea was interesting. I thought it was going to go kind of with this whole mob scene. You know, you had the Mandalorian, which is very kind of Western thematic shots, and then with Boba Fett taking over Jabba's palace, I sort of thought to myself, well, maybe this is gonna run like a mob movie or a mob TV show where they're building influence and whatnot, and then I don't know what happened. Ended up turning into the Mandalorian, and then I described it to one of my friends the other day as it felt like I was watching my kids play with their Star Wars Legos, right? They just got all their cool Star Wars Legos together and decided to make an insane battle scene. Like, we'll put this guy on top of the Rancor and we'll put these random speeder guys and they're all on a team. And anyway, it felt like I was watching an 11-year-old Lego battle. I didn't hate it, but anyway. Alright, removing sabotages here with Tarkin. Not a very good move series here for me in general. But might as well remove it over where we can get it and put an AT-AT on the queue and then do what we can. Nice thing is we got rid of Rebel Cell. So Rebel Cell scored 3 objectives this round, which is pretty rough, but I guess 2 of those probably would have gotten done anyway. So let's see where the base can move to. Base can move to Felucia, Kashyyyk, Ord, Ilum, Dagobah, Hoth. No, not Hoth. Endor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have 5, 6. I have things by all of them except for Ilum. So with my luck, it's going to be an Ilum. Even though there was only a 1 in 12 chance of either Ilum or Endor getting pulled. We know all the rest are viable. Or Felucia, too. That's true. Alright. So after the base moves, it's generally fairly weak, except for the Hidden Fleet combo. So I've got a planetary assault that came up, which is a great draw. So I can planetary with Boba in Ilum, and I can keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves back. I can cover everything I need to. And then if the base is in Ord, that's the big one. But I can check that first with the assault carrier. So I think the right move is assault carrier to Ord. Then planetary onto Ilum. Hope it's not blocked. And yeah, I think I'll be alright. Now I've got a little bit of a weird deployment going on here with shield bunkers. I think I'm overly paranoid about a fleet that's too far away to do anything here. They can't plan the assault on a shield bunker because he's already led the strike team, and then plan the assault, you can't bring troops with you. So pretty sure here I just need to keep movements available. I can keep Jabba on roll by fear or whatever if I want, or keep him back to block. Finally remembering to put some troops up there. But yeah, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements and a mission to cover all 6 available spots. And we're 3 points ahead right now, so we can definitely end it here if this all goes according to plan. So if he moves to Ord the first round, then what we can do is we can bring the assault carrier in, drop a troop off, and see if the base is there. That's the easiest way to do it. And then if it is there, then we got a little bit of a mess on our hands. I mean, then it's basically Death Star to get into the base at that point. There's only so much you can do, so you gotta take risks sometimes. But if the assault carrier goes in and can take out 2 planes there, 3 planes, 5 planes, oof, gross. I mean, there's a chance. And we know Ord was one of the options too. Okay, Wedge opens with moving to Ord. So the right move here is to take a a fist leader that's not, so we need Soontir to go in there because that improves the chances of, yeah. All right. Anyway, we can watch this disaster unfold here. So instead, Boba Fett's drawing probe cards. Now he did draw Felucia, so I got lucky there. That's a net gain of not 0. We got Lando doing sabotage on the Death Star location. Okay, and he's going to elect to get rid of a shield bunker. Okay, now we've got a planetary on Ilum. Or check with Soontir first. Already used his card. He's not that useful anymore. There we go. Okay, checking word with Soontir. Bring in the assault carrier. And a troop. Or an ATST even. Do some damage. Or all of my starfighters to try to kill the starfighters there. And not bringing a ground troop. What a disaster. Alright, thought process here. I don't know. I needed to trigger those other 2 X-Wings to... I mean, I get what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to kill the starfighters, but he's got a block black hits card. So I need crits. And I needed those other 2 X-Wings up there to do some damage. And since I need crits, I'm rolling the wrong dice here. But I got lucky anyway and got all 3 starfighters. Okay, he can't heal, which is nice. But again, I needed those X-Wings up there too, because I can sit here and take them out next round. Oy vey. Oy vey. Also, we would know if the base was in Ord or not. If the base is not in Ord, that means we could have saved enough movements to do other things, but alas. And now, because I didn't trigger the X-Wings, I can't kill anything reasonable here. So we'll try to roll crits again, I guess. This is a prime example of moving too fast for myself here. And he's got 1. I blocked black hits, but I'm not really paying attention to that for whatever reason. Yeah, I just took all 3 damage, even though I had a block in there. Yeah, it doesn't make a huge difference, but now we have a problem because I don't know if the base is in Ord, and I only have 3 movements left, and I have 4 places to check with those 3 movements. And now I am running planetary on Ord, which could have very easily gotten blocked. I have no words. I have no words. This is how you lose games, folks. All right. So the base is not in Ord. Cost me a planetary to figure that out. Had to pull troops off of a slightly more useful location to not win a battle here. And maybe get confronted. So this whole thing is going according to plan. All right, 2 damage, 4 damage. Alright. Got the Vanguard. Damaged a speeder, hopefully beyond repair. And did enough damage to wipe out my guys. So, infiltrating. So now I have 3 people to check. So I went from being able to cover all aspects of the board to now I can still cover the last 3 spots. I just can't check Ilum. And instead we're drawing probes. Drawing a probe with Jabba. Okay. One probe. Maybe I'll get lucky. Yeah, Utapau. I don't know what I was expecting. Okay. Jabba should have been on that. Boba should have been on Planetary. Planetary should have been on Ilum. Just when you're winning, take time to think things through. Okay, so now I try to get back on track. We're doing an Incite in Alderaan. Okay, it seems like a little bit of a weird move. Not going to win this one, but maybe I can cycle my cards. He's going to cycle his here pretty soon, too. Actually, he's going to cycle his next turn. Okay, so think about level 3 objectives. It could be outposts. So right now he's got one in Hoth. He's got one in Ilum. He's got one in Ord. Now he'll have one in Alderaan and then one in Felucia. So that'd be 5. So I've got a... And then if he's got outposts, then we're down to the final turn after that. And if he's in Ilum, then at that point it's good game. And can't risk blocking Insight with the Emperor because then I'm getting Return of the Jedi, which is an even quicker end of the game in a more unceremonious fashion. So you can see me counting up Felucia, Ilum, 5. He's got 5 already. So I have to take out the transport. And I'm using my Emperor so that he can't get incited on Hoth. Which doesn't actually need to happen. I could have just used Tarkin and then Mothma would have had to play if she was on an uprising or whatever. Then I'd have the Emperor's card to still use. So I'm making tons of mistakes here. So again, if you're in the lead, just calm down. Think through your actions, and we've got another Insight. So now we've got 6 rebels on the board. Alderaan, Cato, Ord, Ilum, Felucia. 5 still. So the Insight goes through. I don't kill anybody. And now I have to go after Alderaan here because I need to wipe rebels off the map or outposts is going to be scored. That's the only reason you'd play Insights there back to back like that, is to try to get outposts up. And now I have to leave the defense of where the Death Star was, put it somewhere totally undefended, making the assumption the base is in Ilum. So I'm going to need that extra move. Just a big mess. All right. So Death Star's still alive. And now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5 because of Corellia. That's right. So I still need to take out one more group of people. Now I either attack at Cato with 2 tanks, or I attack at Corellia with 2 troops over a subjugated area. And he blows up a tank, and luckily Vader pulls through with 2 crits. So we just need no healing here by the rebels. Nope, nothing. Okay. So luckily, avoided outposts. So we've got Corellia, 2, 3, 4, and Felucia makes 4. So 4 total for outposts. Or not raid outposts, but rebel outposts. Now the downside is I haven't checked anything. Could be in Endor, could be in... So, and Leia's on Rule by Fear, which doesn't do me any good either, because he's not at 9. Anyway, that's a good example of one of the worst turns you can take in Rebellion. And he's rapiding, so let's see what we've got going on. And he was in Kashyyyk. He's in Kashyyyk with 2 X-Wings. So think about that for a minute. Ay, Dios mío. I mean, in theory, if I check with the assault carrier in Ord and use planetary in Ilum, at that point I really only have a 50-50 guess as to whether or not it's in Felucia or Kashyyyk. So, it is what it is. And now I drew Ilum. So now he's either in Endor, Dagobah. Thankfully he wasn't in Ilum, man. That was going to cause major problems if he was. Because I'm not sure how I get through that giant rebel fleet with just the Death Star. So now I'm going to deploy a shield bunker there. And I got to guard that shield bunker with an ATST, or an AT-AT probably. ATST to do damage because I got my cards back, but AT-AT to survive. And then, why not play the assault carrier? Well, as long as the shield bunker's up, nobody's hurting anything, and he's got three speeders. Because I didn't hunt any of them down, but I did have to hunt down the X-Wings, so it's going to be kind of an interesting run here. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to put the assault carrier in Megiddo or anything, because it's going to be kind of a now or never thing going on. So what are the Rebels' options at this point? They got to attack. They attack, they get the Death Star, they score 2, it's over. If they don't, I can check Endor, and then he gets another move, and then I check Dagobah. Luckily, he did not draw Ilum. So here's the attack with Dodonna. Instead of Lando. I've only got 4 red dice here. He's got 2 X-Wings. So all that work to kill those starfighters, and he still has 2 X-Wings at the end of it. So let's talk about what to play here. So he's going to remove damage off his starfighters. So I've got to, yeah, I mentioned the Emperor's card. It doesn't matter for the space combat, but right now, because he's removing damage, the only thing I can really kill is the Nebulon. So we'll go ahead and do that. He's not going to roll enough heals there. He rolls and misses. And now he's got 3 speeders, but no speeder card because he used that earlier. Okay, so we're going to damage a speeder. He's going to say no healing. So if he rolls 3 hits, he's got 2 and a reroll. Ugh, thank God. All right, so 2 hits. Can't take out the shield bunker with 2. And then I've got a bunch of heals to roll. And like I said, he played no healing. So now I just got to get some hits. Take out some speeders. Need 5. One, 2, 3. 2 for 1. 1 for another. Get that trooper out of there. And 2 rerolls. Need a hit and a crit. Just 1 crit. 1 speeder left. But because he took out the ATST, doesn't make any sense for the speeder to sit there because it's not going to do 3 to the shield bunker. I probably should have played the block a red hit card there. It wouldn't have mattered, but that probably would have been the better roll. Just because of the danger of losing that shield bunker, obviously. So he's got to retreat, and then I have to pick Endor or Dagobah. I check Endor. Grant good games. Oh man, what a almost nightmare there at the end. That was quite the game. So in this game, definitely played a capture strategy, but you can see that, I mean, even if you put the rebels that far behind, you can still end up in a situation where, you're still down to the very last turn. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and find us on Discord. Link in the description. See you next week.